Welcome to the Never Too Early Fantasy Football Podcast, where it is never too early for fantasy football. My name is Jeff.
Alex.
As always, thank you for downloading, listening, liking, and commenting on our podcast videos. Please join our community by subscribing to us on the socials. Our handle on all platforms is at N2E Fantasy. We're also available on all major podcasting apps by searching N2E Fantasy. Alex, what do we have on today's show?
On this episode of the Never Too Early Fantasy Football Podcast, we are previewing week 5 of the NFL season. So we will talk about the upcoming action for these 14 matchups this week. There are 4 teams on bye: Lions, Chargers, Eagles, Titans. All are out. Let's see. We've got our Thursday night matchup coming up, the divisional matchup between the Buccaneers at the Falcons. Jeff, who are you picking in this one? And are we avoiding or starting players in this matchup?
So I think we're going to start all the skill position players in this matchup. I think the biggest question is Bucky Irving or White for the Buccaneers at running back. And I'm going to go with the Falcons, a home team in this matchup. And Alex, the reason why I was shaking my head earlier was because I cannot believe we're already on week 5. It does not feel possible to be on week 5, but it is correct. And give me the Falcons in this one.
I'm also taking the Falcons in this one. I do believe it's close to a 50-50. I think, you know what, virtually all of these matchups this week are pretty close to a 50-50. I think that Buccaneers are a pretty solid but inconsistent team. Falcons desperately need a win. Falcons have been pretty close, pretty competitive the last few weeks. I expect them to get something going at home, and Kirk Cousins to prove that he is, in fact, a primetime player.
We will see. He's actually been pretty good in primetime this year. But the next game, Alex, is Kirk Cousins' old team, the Vikings, and they are hosting the New York Jets. But this isn't your normal hosting because this is in London. So this is a 9:30 start on Sunday. So you got to make sure you have your lineup set up for this matchup. Alex, who are you taking in this matchup? And then is there anyone you're benching in this matchup?
I'm going to pick the Vikings. I mean, the Vikings do have a history of pillaging and conquering England. So I think that trend continues going into this weekend. They're 4-0, one of the only 2 4-0 teams left. And I just trust Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores to prepare their guys for a European game. Then I trust the Jets coaching staff. So I'm going Vikings.
I have to agree with you on this. And the interesting thing is we picked the Jets in our May and September predictions. So this is a complete 180 for us.
I think the Jets theoretically have more talent than the Vikings, but they've just struggled to employ it, so to speak.
Absolutely. They might be struggling to employ their head coach very shortly.
All right. Are we avoiding anyone in particular?
I'm not. I'm starting both
Garrett Wilson,
Vikings.
maybe?
I'm starting. You have to start him. You gave up a second round pick for him. I don't know how you just bench him. Feels gross. You got to start Brees. Maybe even start Lazard at this point. But you got to start both Addison and Jefferson and Aaron Jones. Is a great start lately. But yeah, no tight ends.
All right.
I don't like Conklin.
I mean, what tight end do you like at this stage? They're all struggling.
That's a fair point. Taysom Hill.
He did get 2 touchdowns last week. We didn't talk about that. All right. So we're both the same over the last 2 matchups. Let's see if we continue with this one. We have the Ravens at the Bengals. Both teams need a win. They need to somehow catch the Steelers. Jeff, who are you picking in this one?
This is a very tough matchup where you're going to start all of your fantasy options in this matchup as well. I just feel like the Bengals are on the upswing. Ravens hit a high last week, and I expect them to dip down a little bit after that high. And I expect the Bengals to actually take this matchup.
Jeff, you were reading my mind because I'm also picking the Ravens. I've bounced back and forth trying to figure out who I want this week. And I agree with you. I think the Bengals desperately need to win more. They're at home. Ravens haven't been able to get anything going through the air lately. And I think that's the major difference.
So we're both going the Bengals in this one?
Yep. We're 3 for 3 so far.
All right. Well, we have a discrepancy in this next one. The Bills at the Texans. I assume you're starting everyone in this matchup. This could be the highest scoring game of the week. Alex, anyone you're sitting, or you starting everyone, and then who you picking?
I'm keeping an eye on Mixon and Tank Dell to see if they play this week. So that's the major concern. Other than that, I would start everyone who's playing. And I've also gone back and forth on this one. I'm going to go with the Texans this week.
And I'm going to
They're
go with
at
the Bills
home.
after their embarrassing loss. But yeah, go ahead. You said they're at home.
Texans are at home. Stroud plays significantly better at home than he does away so far. And I think Tank Dell's going to play, so I think the Texans' receiving option should be at full strength. Mixon may be back this week. If not, Akers will be okay as a fill-in. I think that the Bills' defense is pretty banged up. I think the Texans' defense is getting better. You can't count out the Bills because of Josh Allen ever, but I think the Texans have to take this one.
All right. And I think the Bills have to take it after an embarrassing loss last week. So they will be playing a little bit more angry. High scoring, though.
I hope so. Yeah. All right. We have next the Panthers at the Bears. And Jeffrey, we get to talk about your team now. Who are you taking in this matchup?
Absolutely. And this is a game that would have been very miserable a couple weeks ago if Bryce Young was starting. But Andy Dalton is starting, which makes the Panthers' offense a lot more deadly, for lack of a better word. Couldn't think of an adjective to put there, but they're a lot more. They have a lot more gunpowder now with the red rifle. Is that better?
Firepower.
But
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Panthers in this one. I just see this coming. I picked every Panthers game correct so far this year, so I'm gonna continue that.
Interesting. All right. I'm going to go with Chicago. I think it's really hard to play in Chicago no matter who the team is. And I think Chicago's defense is still underrated. I think the Panthers are going to struggle against that defense. I think Caleb Williams is looking better. I'm going Chicago.
All right, we will see. It's definitely going to take quite the performance from Caleb Williams, but we can move on. I think in that matchup too, you probably start the DJ Moore. You probably bench the other two wide receivers, maybe Odunze if he plays. I don't know what you're doing with Keenan Allen.
It's the first time DJ Moore is playing against the Panthers since he was traded, I think.
For Bryce Young, who's sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
No, so they played. They played last year on Monday Night Football.
Did they?
They did.
They're playing 2 years in a row. That doesn't make sense.
It does if they finish the same spot, and they both finished in the fourth place in their division, so it does make sense if they would play 2 years in a row. They played on Monday, November 9th, and Chicago won 16-13. A doozy of a game. I think it was Tyler Bagent versus Bryce Young.
Well, this time he's going to have Caleb Williams throw him the ball.
Who's better right now?
I think Caleb Williams is better than Bagent.
You're giving Caleb Williams some compliments over there.
Do you think Bagent is better than Caleb Williams?
Well, was it DJ Moore earlier this season walked up to Tyler Bagent and said, "We need you, man"?
I have no idea. I don't remember that.
I will be sending that to you later tonight. You'll wake up to it first thing in the morning.
I have my issues with Caleb Williams, but he's definitely better than Bagent. I think Bagent's pretty good backup, but I don't think Bagent should be a starter. Either way, it's a revenge game for DJ Moore, and it's at home for Chicago. Chicago, I think, has the better roster talent. I think second week back from injury for Keenan Allen. Everything should be more Bears, unless Andy Dalton just really lights it up.
Alex, you like it when there's more Bears around.
I don't know what to say to that. Except, let's move on here to the Browns at Commanders. Yet another toss-up matchup. Browns 1-3 are going to Washington to play at the Commanders, and the Commanders 3-1. Commanders are the hot team. I'm going to go Commanders in this one.
All right.
And I'm benching basically every single Browns player, in my opinion.
Stop it.
They all suck.
They're
terrible.
I will also be going the Commanders in this matchup, and we'll see if Devontae Adams becomes a Commander sometime this week. All right. I agree with you. I have a hard time starting Amari Cooper right now. Ford is a hard start if Chubb is active for this game, so there's that piece of it. I have to start Sean Watson in a league. He's quarterback 17 on the year, so he's not terrible right now, and I expect him to improve once Nick Chubb comes back. But we can hop over to the next game where we have the Colts at the Jaguars. Alex, I am going to go the Jaguars getting their first win in this matchup. What are your thoughts?
No, out one side of your mouth, Anthony Richardson's so terrible, Joe Flacco's an upgrade. Out the other side of your mouth, Anthony Richardson's out. I'm going to pick Jacksonville to beat Indianapolis. That
I
doesn't
would have
make
picked him
sense,
either
man.
way.
No, I'm going the Colts, man. Colts have every bit the same firepower. They've had a better defense, I think, so far, despite how flawed it is. Better offensive line. I trust Joe Flacco to be reasonably solid. I trust Pittman and Downs to be very good at wide receiver and keep everything going. They might have a little bit of a drop off there if Sermon gets to start, if Jonathan Taylor is not playing. But overall, I think the Colts are just a better team than the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars head coach, should they lose this one, will get fired. That's my guess. But I would still start Brian Thomas Jr. for sure.
Absolutely. Etienne, Bigsby, all good starts. Christian Kirk.
Yeah. Bigsby to me, flex, emergency running back too, depending on how your team's set up.
Yeah, there's bye weeks.
Christian Kirk, I think, is a wide receiver 3/flex as well.
Yeah, and then you have Evan Ingram, hopefully returning in this one.
Adonai Mitchell might be an emergency fill-in for you guys if you need a desperation play. I mean, he might actually catch a ball from Joe Flacco, so we'll see.
We'll see. I can't believe we have so many differences so far. So far, I count 1, 2, 3 differences out of 6 or 7 games here.
You were about to sing a children's song. I'm getting so used to it with with my daughter right now. Thought you were about to be 1, 2, 3, 4.
We're gonna leave that in, and that'll be a TikTok video. So we got the Dolphins at the Patriots next, and Alex, since I picked Jacksonville first last matchup, who are you picking first here? I don't want you stealing my picks.
It might surprise you based off of some things that I've said of late. I'm actually leaning Dolphins in this matchup. I think that McDaniels is under a lot of pressure to get another victory, especially if they're thinking that they can get Tua back in the middle of the season at some point. They have to have enough wins to make that feasible. Because if they lose out until week 8 or week 9 trying to get Tua back, there's no way they can make the playoffs, and it doesn't even make sense to play them. So they have to get a win. Patriots, to me, are not a good team. Both defenses haven't been as good as we thought they'd be. I expect this to be a messy game. I expect Ramondre Stevenson and Antonio Gibson to be used a lot in this matchup. And I would hope that Mostert plays for the Dolphins, and Mostert and Achane both have good games. I don't know if Waddle or Hill will have a good game. I think you almost have to play them, but just expect wide receiver 3 production out of them at best right now, and hope that they just have a really big play, like get like a 50, 60-yard touchdown and make it worthwhile. But give me the Dolphins.
Everyone's going to have to watch me waddle here, because that might be the only touchdown celebration that you get to see of the waddle anytime soon.
I thought you just had to pee. I didn't know that's what you were doing.
No, my hands are down by my side. You just can't see my hands. Anyways.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to see your hands, but it's okay. Yeah, just continue.
They're right here. All right.
What are those stains on them?
Oh, God. Just a wedding ring. Anyways, so I'm going to go New England in this matchup because I do believe they have the better defense, and they're at home, and we could see some Drake May in this matchup, maybe.
Oh, yet another difference. That's interesting. I would love Drake May to be successful. Don't know if I want him playing the upcoming slate of defenses that they're going to face with how bad that offensive line is. So
yeah, but a little cleanup duty against the Dolphins wouldn't be the worst thing.
If they're getting the win.
Exactly. I like how you think.
All right. Cardinals at the 49ers. Jeffrey. West Coast matchup.
You give me the hard matchups here, but give me the 49ers in this matchup. This was actually one of the easiest ones of the week for me.
Yeah, I'm also taking the 49ers. I think we'd both agree to start all the skill position players in this.
Jordan Mason.
Both quarterbacks, both starting running backs. Marvin Harrison Jr., I don't know if Michael Wilson might be more of a flex, or deeper wide receiver play. Juwan Jennings and Ayuk, definitely starting them, definitely starting Kittle. I don't know, is McBride back from injury? What was it, a concussion or something?
Yeah, he should be back this week, but Wilson is quietly coming on, and I have a conundrum in one of my leagues with Wilson. Kind of need to drop him to pick up a tight end because I have Goddard on bye, but I also have Hawkinson, who I thought might be back this week. So I obviously don't want to drop either one of those. So I might have to drop Mike Wilson to pick up another tight end, a third tight end on my roster.
You should drop Justin Jefferson. I hear that guy's a bum.
He is a bum. He is a bum. So we're both going San Francisco in this matchup. Pretty self-explanatory. Probably could start the San Francisco defense here, especially at home. All right, so we have the Raiders at the Broncos. Alex, this is a little bit harder of a matchup that you have to decide here for us first.
I'm very curious how you're going to pick this one as well. Both teams 2-2 at this point. It is in Denver. Raiders are in a bit of turmoil. Broncos offense is bereft of talent. Broncos defense has been very good against good squads. Raiders, I don't know if Max Crosby's back yet. Doesn't look like Devonta Adams is going to play. This is a real difficult matchup to decipher. I see strides with Bo Nix, so I'm going to side with the Broncos. I think their defense is good enough to stifle the Raiders, and I think Bo Nix might finally have a much better game against a weakened defense for the Raiders, seemingly.
Yeah, and I'm going to go opposite of you here and give me the Raiders.
Ah,
I'm a Raiders fan.
Jeff,
Go Gardner Minshew. As long
I
as they
just want
keep
you to
winning,
know.
they can't get rid of Gardner.
I just want you to know, Jeff, the Raiders win. My preseason bet of ranking how they finish is going to be accurate 5 weeks in. It'll be interesting. The Raiders is the number 2 team because they'll be 3-2.
I thought you had the Chargers as the last place team in the division.
Yeah, that's the tricky part because I think the Broncos would be 2-3 in that scenario, and the Chargers would still be 2-2. So, well, I guess
You
I
are
need one more
correct.
week. I need one more week.
Chargers have actually looked pretty decent in their losses, even too. So they're going to be a hard team to beat every week. All right.
What I'm hearing is Jeff beating around the bush saying, "You were right, Alex," but we'll see.
Justin Herbert's going to come out of the bye with a brand new leg, and he'll be ready to be playing.
It's going to be robotic. He's going to be faster than ever.
It's going to be huge.
All right. How many more matchups do we have here? We have 4 more matchups. Well, this is going to be a tough one for you, Jeff. Probably not, but Packers at Rams. Who are you taking?
I get all the easy ones. This is a Green Bay all the way type of situation here, and I'm starting my Jaden Reed, Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs, and I don't know another Packers receiver that I would start. Maybe Wicks, maybe Dobbs. Doesn't seem like Watson's going to be playing in this matchup. Rams, you pretty much just start Stafford. I don't really trust any of their receivers in Kyron Williams. But Green Bay
I don't even
all
know if
the
you start
way.
Stafford.
Green Bay all the way.
What do I do here? No, I'm also picking Green Bay. Preseason, I would have picked the Rams here, but unfortunately, with their offensive line decimated and their receiving corps decimated, I don't think I can trust them to win. It wouldn't surprise me if they pulled off the upset, but right now, Green Bay's in a better spot, so I'm going Green Bay.
All right, so we can move on to the next game, which this might be a hard one for you, but it's the Giants at the Seahawks, Alex. Who you taking, and why is it the Giants?
No, it's not the Giants. I am taking the Seahawks in this one.
Give me the Seahawks as well.
Yeah, I don't know if Neighbors is even going to play for the Giants in this one. Either way, if Neighbors is in or out, you can still start Wan'Dale Robinson as a wide receiver 3.
You hate that so much.
Yeah.
Seattle, you can start them all. Charbonnet as an emergency play.
Yeah.
Doing a lot of rhyming tonight. Charbonnet is an emergency play.
It comes with being a parent, Jeff. It just happens.
It just happens.
Okay. Now we got our Monday night matchups. It's still weird 4 weeks in having two Monday night matchups each week.
That's false, sir.
Very strange.
You're on Sunday Night Football with the Cowboys and the Steelers. That is Sunday night.
Is there only one?
Yes, sir.
Oh, is it because we've got the foreign game? Is that why?
It's because you just sounded like a racist grandpa there.
Is it because we got them foreign games out there?
No, it's the 4 bye weeks.
Okay, that's fair. All right.
All right,
Watch
so
out
I
for
think
them
this is my
European
game.
matchups.
This is my game here. The Cowboys at the Steelers. I don't know if I can pick this game. So I believe that this is going to be one of the closer games of the week. And I'm going to go ahead with the Dallas Cowboys in this matchup.
We are going to have yet another difference, Jeff. I'm going Steelers.
Anyone you're benching in this match?
I would want to say Dak, but I feel like you can't. Like you can't bench him. So I would just continue to start Dak, Lamb, Ferguson. Avoid Dallas's running backs at this stage. You can start Fields of all people and Pickens, and potentially Najee will go off this week because Dallas has been pretty soft against physical running backs. So I think if any week Najee is going to turn his year around, it should be this week.
We will see. But that's another difference. So we'll have to count up the total differences after this last game here, which I'm going to tee you up on this one here. It's the Saints at the Chiefs. And who are you taking in this matchup? This should be a much closer matchup than people think.
I'm going to take the Chiefs. I know they lost their leading receiving option in Rashee Rice for probably the entire year. I don't think that is necessarily going to set them back. Their defense is really good. I think that they'll stymie Derek Carr. We might get a disappointment from Kamara this week, so we'll see. But it should be a close matchup. Probably
Are you
lower
picking a
scoring.
Kamara downfall?
If any week he could get shut down, it would be this week against the Chiefs.
Sir, I'm going to go New Orleans in this matchup. I just think New Orleans has a lot more firepower right now. Chiefs are pretty much forced to start Sky Moore at this point, which is never a good thing. And just take out Travis Kelce, and that's pretty much all you got to take out of the offense right now because I know Pacheco. This offense is depleted. And
don't want to start Kareem Hunt?
I mean, is he going to be the guy? Or are they going to go back to Steele? That's a little bit too much wishy-washy for me, but I can see people not having the option not to go with a running back there.
Okay. Well, I mean, some people, if you have to, between Steele, Pirine, and Hunt, who would you start?
Probably would go Hunt, Steele, Pirine.
Let's see. Okay. Well, do we have anything else to cover for these matchups?
No, just Red Zone's going to be a little light this week in matchups because the London game and the 4 bye week. So there's 3, 4, 5, 6 matchups in the 1 o'clock window, and that's a little bit sad for Red Zone. Missed my 9 matchups.
Yeah. But I do like that since I'm already going to be up because I have a small child, that I'll actually have something to watch. So that'll be nice.
Absolutely. Are you going to you'll be watching the London game?
Yep,
Me
sure
too.
will.
I hope to be making sausage, biscuits, and gravy, which is a southern treat.
What do you know about that up north? Huh?
Well, I make my biscuits from scratch, so there's that, and I make my sausage gravy from scratch also. So Betty Crocker.
I thought you guys just eat brown bread out of a can up there or something.
I don't know what that is, but okay.
That's probably a Maine and Massachusetts thing. Never heard of brown bread out of a can?
No.
I read it in the book that they eat that. Anyway.
You're not one of those folks that like salt to beer or salt to Coke, are you?
No.
No.
But I know a big thing in Texas is to put peanuts in a Coke bottle.
Yep.
It's a big thing in Texas.
That's the salt factor. So when you go to the grocery store, this will be the last thing that we talk about here, but when you go to the grocery store and you walk into the grocery store, what's that thing that you grab out and then push it through the grocery store? What do you call that?
Cart?
Most of the South calls it a buggy.
I've never heard that.
What?
Like a horse and buggy?
Yep.
No. Maybe that's a Carolinas thing.
Do you have a electric bill or a light bill?
Electric bill.
Okay.
I mean, I think a lot of people use it synonymously, but
I know. Electric is bigger than lights now, though.
Yeah.
All right. That's my northern moment of the day.
Yeah. Now who sounds like the racist grandpa?
That was foreign.
All right. Don't forget to watch out for them foreign games out there. Gotta really watch out for them. All right. Well, that does it for another episode of the Never Too Early Fantasy Football Podcast. Thank you all for downloading and watching this episode. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Please leave us a comment and share the show. Every little bit helps.
You can find us on all podcasting apps by searching N2E Fantasy and with our handle at N2E Fantasy on all social media platforms. Please join our community and give us a follow. Until next time, take care of yourselves and remember, it's truly never too early for fantasy football. Thank you again.
Hi, everybody.